Yo, what's going on? My name is Micah Weston, and today I have some producer sauce for all of you guys to take advantage of. I came across this fire Ableton device called CHORDimist. This thing is the dopest chord generator I have ever used. And today I'm excited to share with you guys all that it can do and hopefully inspire you guys to go copy it for yourselves and so you guys can start using this in your beats today. Gotta admit that I am not the type of producer that is super well versed in music theory and piano playing, but that is something this year that I'm working on changing. But with that being said, I love CHORDimist because not only does it generate amazing, lush sounding professional chords, but this thing is also really intuitive, and I feel like it can also play a role in helping producers like me and maybe even you gain a better understanding for music theory, a better understanding for what makes chord progressions great. So let's jump into this thing, man. I want to break down all of the different functions that CHORDimist has to offer without any further ado. All right, so a quick little rundown for those who are new to Max for Live devices. When you download CHORDimist, it's really simple getting this into Ableton. Literally from the CHORDimist folder, wherever it is downloaded on your computer, all you need to do is to just drag and drop this CHORDimist Max for Live device into Ableton like so. Literally anywhere in Ableton, let go, and the device is here. From here, what you can do is save it to your Max for Live directory, which is simple by just clicking this save button right here. And I've done this earlier, so I have one here already, but it's as simple as that. Right when you open up CHORDimist and you route it to the plugin that you want your sounds to come from, and I'll show you guys right now. Right out the box, you get something that sounds like this. Very humanistic feeling piano playing. I love how simple yet complex CHORDimist is. So let's go ahead and break down this Ableton device. So right at the top, we have all 12 notes. And underneath that, we have all the different types of scales: majors, minors, dominants, diminished. If you look deeper, we also have in these corners different settings that we can also play with. This dice button right here is just a randomizer. So when you click it and when you play notes on your MIDI, that's so fire. It just randomizes all the notes. And that was all just me hitting one note on my MIDI controller. I love devices that, and this may sound kind of funny to you guys, but I love devices that feel like a toy, and not in a cheap sense, but in a wondrous type of, I can do no wrong. I press a button and spontaneous things take place that really encourage my creativity. Most of my favorite plugins have, a randomization type of feature. So I'll go ahead and turn randomization off for the notes, and it's gonna stay here on A flat. We have some more options here. We have uppercase M, which represents major. And as you can see, as I am hitting one note, I'm only hitting one key on my MIDI controller, but it is randomizing different chords underneath A flat major. So let's say that as I'm just, clicking through these randomized chords, I find a chord that I like. In order to get the randomization to stop, you don't click the M, you don't click the major. You want to click this X right here. And then when you click your note, it stays on that chord. So with that uppercase M being major, the lowercase m represents minor. It's so crazy, man, what this device is doing, man, because it literally sounds like I'm going crazy on the keys right now. I'm hitting one button in CHORDimist, and CHORDimist is adding all of this motion. And we're going to get into how we can, manipulate the motion, manipulate the arps and the different movements. So definitely stick with me. I believe that this one represents the dominant sevens. Let's see. Yeah. So I do believe that the next dice right here represents the diminished flats. And excuse me, because like I mentioned before, my music theory knowledge is growing. And this year I'm putting myself to studying theory and getting better. And correct me if I'm wrong. And then I believe that the next dice right here represents the randomization of the diminished seven chords. And the final dice, I believe, randomizes all of the different chord types. So randomizing all the different chord types while keeping it all underneath the root of the note that I chose up at the top. So the next section represents the chord voicings that CHORDimist can do. So we have closed, top third, open, comping. So let me go ahead and mess with these different chord voicings so you guys can hear how they sound. And I'm going to also put my stacks at 0, and we can hear what stacks does in a second too. That's closed, top third, open, comping. Now this is really dope because when you're making a chord progression, what really makes chord progressions sound sophisticated and rich to me is the different voicings. It's one thing to play a chord in a regular, normal way that you always hear, but it's another thing to play that same chord in a different voicing to add contrast. So I come through and I start the progression with a closed chord. Add some flavor by switching the chord type. So it's going to make some more sense in a second when I actually make a chord progression. And we also have a randomization over here as well. Dope. So let's go ahead and turn our attention to stacks. And in doing so, obviously it makes the chord sound wider, thicker. So let's go ahead and change the stacks to 1. Another thing that I love about CHORDimist is that I'm noticing that when I am playing these chords, when I'm triggering them, they don't even play the same way each time that I'm hitting a note on my keyboard. Okay, next we have our transpose section and our inversion section. Let's transpose it down an octave. Back up an octave. Down 1 semitone. Up 1 semitone. And then we can inverse the chords. We can inverse the chord down. Inverse the chord up. One more time. And I love that you can see the chords laid out here on this piano. To me, I feel like you can definitely learn chords by just messing around with CHORDimist. You can like mess around, create chords on CHORDimist, and you can like practice the fingering too in your practice time of learning piano. At least that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna definitely utilize this in that way. So dog, I literally almost forgot the pitch bend function. So this little tab right here is kind of hidden off to the side. But boom, we have a whole nother window with a whole bunch of other new functionalities. This is just a pitch bend page. You can choose different wobbles, a tape vibe, you know. Looks like some more randomization options over here. What do these do over here? Interesting. Is this like a loop? Very cool. Then we have rate, mess with the rate. Yeah, very reminiscent of like, you know, a tape machine, you know? Okay, so let's address these different colors right here. These different colors represents your different chord presets. So right now, this red square that has to check on it, this is the first chord that I've been messing with. If I want to add another chord, I can just click over here in an empty square, and I could choose whatever color I want to click right here to represent the preset that I'm now working on. And let's choose a chord that's in the same key of our first chord. Let's definitely stay in key. So I'm in A flat minor. So I'm gonna choose A flat right here. And I'm just gonna choose, you know, a random chord from the minor section. All right. So right now, man, you know, I'm going to just mess around with these two chords. I'm going to mess around some of these features right here, some of these chord types. So give me 1 second. I like the way those two chords are sitting around the same pitch and they feel like they fit really well. Even when you look at how the chords are moving on the UI, the notes are pretty close together. All right, so I'm going to use this time to move down to the next section. So down here we have all of our different movements and things that CHORDimist can do, really adding life to these chords. So right now for the settings that we have on these two chords, we have it on one shot. And we have the play direction ascending up. And we have the rate, which is the speed in which the chords are playing. The further up that you bring it, the slower that it's played. The lower that you bring it, the faster that it's played, and eventually you can just get one solid chord. And I can't get over the fact that, I'm hitting this chord. You can even see on the UI. That as I am playing, this one chord, that white line that's shifting across the keyboard of the UI, is not staying in one place. It's moving a little bit. There's some randomization to it as well. That's very humanistic. Shout out to the developer of CHORDimist, because he went crazy. Wow. So this next bar right here, it feels like it's skipping over notes and it's adding some rhythm. I like that. I'm gonna mess with some of these options over here. So currently it's playing one shot and I'm just tapping my key and it's playing all the way through. But with sustain, you have to hold down the key in order for the whole chord and motion to play out. Now, if I play it short, and that's very functional too for your chord progression. Maybe you want to do something like that. Now for ARP, it's gonna just play all of these notes, repeat it, and it's playing a direction up. So while I'm here, I'm gonna play with some of these directions. That's more like super random movements. Yeah, so let's go ahead. I'm gonna go back to one shot with a different type of movement. Let's choose this more like random one. So the next section, duration sync, is the duration of the notes being played. So at the top, the very first option, 1-1. Let's see how that's dramatically different from the last option. And something in the middle. Let's go back to ARP. So this is like how it was when I was first playing the ARP. And I can switch it up. Yeah, that is so crazy how easy it is to get something like that, just with a few clicks. And velocity, pretty self-explanatory, but let's mess with the velocity. My bad. That would be so cool to like automate in a track. I like that second bar because it is adding, it's choosing, random notes to make like forte. Yeah, you can definitely hear the difference between the quieter notes and the notes that it's choosing to play like more loud and forte. Skipping notes in the chord. An amount, I believe, also refers to how many notes in the chord are going to be played. So when it's just on select right here, that's the default. That's it playing like all the notes. It's getting to all the notes, as you can see. As we choose 2, I think it's only going to play 2 notes. As I took my finger off the key and hit it again, it shifted to another 2 notes within the chord. That's dope. And pitch. Now, this did not come with a user manual. And for the most part, I don't believe that you need one, but I'm not entirely sure what group stands for right here. So maybe that's some more variation. All right, so that's group 1. And then maybe if I go to 2 and I shift something around, and then we go back to 1. Ah, okay, cool. I just figured that out. That's dope, man. I'm not really sure how you would trigger that though. Like, you know what I mean? Like while you're triggering your chords, I'm not really sure how you would, it's interesting. This thing is like pretty much perfect. I love it. I'm going to definitely be using it. And that'll be it, man. Thank you guys. If you made it this far through the video, thank you guys so much for tapping in and watching. Make sure to like, leave a comment, subscribe. This device is only like $50. Check it out. This isn't sponsored or anything. This thing is crazy.